viewers, it's Kara. This is Tuesday on the Pagan Perspective, and it's February 2nd, which is commonly known as Groundhog's Day, or if you're pagan, Imbolc or Candlemas. Today I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the traditions of Imbolc and why we celebrate it and how I celebrate it and what I've done this year. So first of all, we celebrate Imbolc on February 1st or 2nd, depending on preference or who you ask, really. Most of the time I think it's February 2nd because it happens to correlate with Groundhog's Day, and I don't know which one came first, but sometimes you hear it saying February 1st, but technically if you go astrologically with the event, the celebration of Imbolc is whenever the sun is in 15 degrees of Aquarius, so that's normally somewhere around February 4th. But I celebrate it on February 2nd, just because it's easiest that way, or the 1st, whichever one is more convenient for me that year. So the reason we celebrate Imbolc is because this is the point in the year when there's still pretty much snow covering the ground, at least in the northern hemisphere, and so everything is coming out of winter, but this is the point where things really start growing again, and we start a rebirth and a returning of the light. And so my favorite symbolism for Imbolc is that I put a candle in my window, and I leave it there really pretty much from Samhain all the way through Imbolc, because at Samhain the light in the window represents to me calling in the spirits to home, and then over Yule it's the same thing, celebrating of the light, and then at Imbolc we're calling the light back into the universe, and then after that I sort of put my candle away. And especially at school, since I'm not allowed to have actual candles, I have an electric candle that I put in the window, and last year I actually did turn it on every night and let it light, but I'm actually running out of battery power, so I haven't been actually turning it on this year. But I always do that. The other main way to think of it, if you don't want to think of just light in general, is that the goddess has given birth to the god and she is now becoming a maiden again, and at this point the god is a young growing boy, and he's growing and getting stronger just like the world and the plants and the animals, and everything is being reborn at this point in the year. So the god and the goddess reflect that, as well as just the light in itself, the way the planet works. And so that is why we celebrate Imbolc, and that's why candles are big representations. And the day is also sacred to Brigid, or Brigid, Bridget, Brigitte, Breed, I guess, whichever pronunciation you tend to use. Another common symbol of Imbolc is the corn dolly, because it represents Brigid, which is how I pronounce it, so I'm just going to call her Brigid, becoming the bride, and the maiden being ready to be married. And you can use the same corn dolly that you may have made at Lammas, or sometimes a brand new one is used, and white is a big color of Imbolc because of the snow and everything being pure and clean. And also colors like silver that also represent cleanliness and brightness and purity. And going along with the corn dolly, grain and wheat and things like that, and warm foods and breads are very common at this time. So before I head off to work and upload this, I guess the last thing that I have to say really is I'm just going to show you what I've done for my altar, and that'll be about it. So here is what I've done to my altar. And basically this is my little candle right here, and it's decorated still with like Yule decorations, little apples and pine cones and stuff. And that's just like a napkin ring holder that I put on there. And this is my happy box. You'll get a video of that on my personal channel later, but for right now it's just aiding in my design. And this is the same stained glass frame thing that I've had that I showed at Mabon that I changed the frame for. And I just changed this back to the original frame, which is just like a blue with stars and swirls, and it occurred to me that this is a glass overlay of that frame, so I just took, and I know it's really hard for you to see it, and it's not going to help me to move the camera because it's just backlit, so I'm not going to move everything around because I don't want to mess it up, but I took a dry erase marker, which I have tons of at college. I mean, I just bought a whole rainbow, and I just wrote on here, "Blessings for Imbolc" in Theban. And then around here I wrote some sort of wishes for the new year, wishes for this time, and things that Imbolc makes me think of. Like I wrote cleansing, purification, new beginnings, rebirth, tabula rasa, stuff like that. So just sort of things that I want to embody in this time of year. And then I've just put a bunch of little stones that I had all around here, and then my pagan prayer beads that my mom made me laid over the top. And if I could find my pendulum, he would be right there in the middle, but I can't find him. And then I've just got some money that I've been laying on this big stone to sort of represent prosperity and wealth, and I just keep adding to it every once in a while. No real system to that, just whenever I feel like it. And so that's my basic setup. And over there to the left you can see my roommate girlfriend's altar setup thing. She just sort of likes to have a nice little area. She's not necessarily pagan. But so that's her little setup, and mine's right next to it on the windowsill, so that's really nice. So I think that's it for this video, guys. Let me know if I missed anything, if you want to hear anything more from me, but I have to head to work, and I'm pretty sure I've covered all my bases with what Imbolc means to me and what I've done for it so far. And oh, I would have done a candle blessing. That's another big thing that happens. I think I mentioned that. But I was going to do a candle blessing, especially this year, because I haven't actually gotten to do a ritual for Imbolc at all yet, because this is a weird time of year. But all of my candles are at home, since we're not allowed to have candles at school. So I can't do a candle blessing. I think I'll do it anyway later in the year, but it just won't be an Imbolc candle blessing, so it won't be the same thing. But let me know if you guys do that, and let me know how it goes, and show us your altars, do a video response, or comments, or anything. But I've got to head out to work, so I will see you guys next week. Thank you very much for watching. Blessed Imbolc, and blessed be.